So today I finally got a package I've been waiting for. It's this. Well, actually not this. So let me quickly open this. It's actually this. This is the Nvidia 5070 Founders Edition graphics card. This is sick. So let me just get this off my desk. I pull these two things together away. Wow, holy shit. This is insane. This is the Nvidia 5070 graphics card. In today's video, we're actually going to be talking about why I went with the 5070 and kind of give you like an honest review of this card and some real world and specific reasonings for why I went with this card instead of the 5080 or the 5090. Let me walk you through a couple of reasons and walk you through my PC setup that why I chose the 5070, why I think it's the perfect intermediate card for me. First off, so I built this PC back here in this case M1 in 2020 when COVID hit. It was my second PC I ever built. My first one I had built when I was in high school, and I wanted something a little bit small form factor. So I'd gone with IT and made sure all the components fit. And this was right around the time when the 3080 was about to be launched. And so I remember launch day for the 3080. I went online as soon as it dropped and it immediately sold out. There was no way I could buy the card. I had set aside money to purchase it, and I was like, this is going to be the card that will help me be a creative, because at that point I had only been using my PC as my main workhorse for like photo, video, whatever. And I remember feeling so distraught and just not being able to secure it that I was like, okay, what can I do? Because I had already purchased all the other parts and I really just needed one more piece to make sure the build was complete, and that was the GPU. So I ended up going on eBay and purchasing a 2080 Founders Edition because it fit in the build itself. With an IT build, you have to be very cognizant of the size of the graphics card that can fit in your case. And with the N-Case M1, it was back when the ITX scene wasn't as popular and there wasn't as much variety as there is now. There's so many more options now with IT that you can fit a lot of various different graphics cards in different cases compared to when I purchased the N-Case M1, where yes, it gave me a lot of options, but when it came to the 3080 or the 3090 at the time, there was very limited room and specific configurations that you had to do to make sure that you could maximize the GPU's performance within the build. So after that whole debacle, when I bought the 2080, my whole plan was I was just going to wait until they became more available. Well, turns out the 2080 was actually pretty decent for what I needed it to do. I was able to video edit a lot of videos I did in the beginning. I was playing games that I wanted to at the frame rates I wanted to. I saw no need to upgrade, especially with how 3080s at the time were spiking in MSRP and the chip shortage really put production behind a lot. So when the 4080 came out, that was when my interest peaked up again, where I was like, I had always intended to have a better graphics card in here, but I was kind of waiting for a little bit. So at that point, I was like, you know, I really only use this for a Valorant machine, and I only have a 1080p display. So it doesn't really make sense for me to get a 4080 when I don't really have to push out that much and waste that extra money that I could be using to spend on other things. So I put it to the wayside. Now, about 4-5-ish years later since having this PC, I saw that the 5070s were in stock on Best Buy. And for me, it took a second, but I decided, you know what? Let me go ahead and purchase it. So let me talk you through the reasons that I've thought about it, why I was even in the market for a 5070 compared to where I was instead of buying a secondhand 4080 or 4090. Odds are, if you're watching this video, you already know a lot about these graphics cards and you already know which ones you want to get. For me, what I was really looking for in a graphics card was something that really hit the sweet spot of, you know, a good gaming graphics card, low overhead when it came to wattage, a huge increase in spec bump compared to the 2080, as well as, you know, improved performance in Blender and other applications that I needed to do with it. So just recently, if you had seen my vlog about my small but tiny desk tour, I bought a new monitor. It's a 32-inch OLED 240 hertz. So I currently only play Valorant pretty much. So, you know, when I put it into 4K, when I'm trying to hit 240 hertz, I'm having to pull back a little bit on some of the visual aspects. For me, I just downscaled the game to 20, 50, 60 and just called it a day, and I was still pushing 250 plus frames. But that still kind of sat in the back of my mind of, okay, I don't think this computer could really handle the Blender tasks that I've tried, but I preferably do them on my Mac, which has the M4 Max chip. So that already is double in performance. So let me show you some of the Blender benchmarks for this graphics card, the M4 Max, and the 2080 that's currently in my system. As you can see, the Blender benchmarks for the 5070 are sitting with a median score of 6,200, with the M4 Max GPU being about 1,000 points less at 5,209. And then all the way at the bottom, my Nvidia RTX 2080 sitting at 2139, which is 3 times as less as the 5070, 50% less than my M4 Max. So when it comes to doing 3D animations and really upping my skill set in that category, the 5070 totally makes sense. And you've probably heard it in a lot of other videos out there. This card is amazing for the average gamer. Yes, you're not hitting the biggest benchmarks, you're not hitting the fastest numbers, whatever. But for the price per performance, if you're able to get this card at MSRP, which is $550, this card provides you with a lot of updates and things that Nvidia has integrated over the last couple of years, over the last couple of generations that I didn't have with the 2080. Mainly like frame generation, more VRAM dedicated into the lower cards, and DLSS 4. Being able to get those key refreshes and feeling like I didn't break the bank when I purchased this card was a big thing that was on my mind when I actually managed to get one of these from Best Buy. So overall, yes, this GPU was a big upgrade from where I was previously at, but it was something that in my mind I categorized as this is an intermediate step until, you know, one day I could get a 6090 or something like that when I'm more ready to purchase that. But for right now, if this is just a simple spec bump for playing games that I play every single day, then for me that's enough as it is. Lastly, I know I've said it a lot, but I think one of the things that I was really looking for was added VRAM, and with the 5070 there's now 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and that just helps when it comes to rendering in Blender and doing other GPU intensive tasks. That even slight upgrade of 50% more dedicated gigabytes to VRAM was something that interested me, and I even bought this at the time cheaper than what I got the 2080 for because of the chip shortage. It was more expensive at the time than this cost me at MSRP. So let's just jump right into it and see what my current system is and what actual frames am I getting. So as you can see, my gaming experience on 4K monitor with the 2080 isn't too bad. I'm not really struggling too much, especially with Valorant. When I downscale it to 1440p, I'm pushing over 300 frames, and with The Witcher on medium settings, I was playing 90 frames about. It was a little bit shaky here and there, so the gaming experience isn't too bad. It's nothing super crazy. I get acceptable frames in the games that I want to play. I haven't played The Witcher in a while. I just really brought that up to kind of give you guys a benchmark in another game besides Valorant, which really isn't that intensive on a computer. I will say again, it's kind of like how I talked about before. Like, I wouldn't have upgraded my graphics card if it wasn't for the state of where graphics cards are, where if you're trying to get a specific model like the Founders Edition, which is overall the most popular a lot of the times, it's the most popular for resellers as well. So if you can get your hands on one, it's definitely better to just go bite the bullet, get the upgrade on when you can, and then hey, now you have an investment of some sorts. You can sell it on Facebook Marketplace and use that money towards your next purchase, right? So let's kind of just skip ahead. Let's just put this graphics card in. This is the RTX 5070, and this is my old 2080. They're both 2-slot graphics cards. This one does look a little bit thicker just because the fans are encased, while these ones the fans kind of prod out. It is just like probably a couple millimeters thicker. It's a lot shorter and the power is a little bit, it's situated in a different way, so we'll kind of figure it out as we go. So I'm going to put this back down, and I'm going to put everything back together and then wire it up, and then we'll turn it on and see if it works. It's currently 12:20 at night. This was my old graphics card. I showed you the size comparison when I had them both in my hands. This one is definitely heavier than the other one. I think it's a very good card still. I mean, it was playing a lot of the games that I necessarily needed to, and then I think I'm gonna sell this card, hopefully get some money for it, or, you know, one of my friends is trying to build a PC, so I might just give it to him for for now, I actually don't know what I want to do with this. If any of you wants to buy it for 150 plus shipping, let me know. I would happily send it to you, this card. Okay, so we're back. We loaded up Valorant. Besides the games I play on my ROG Ally X, Valorant is the main game I play on this PC. So this is the only thing I really do freaking care about. So I'm going to load into a deathmatch. Let's just hit start and see queue up. We're playing a deathmatch, and I'm pushing 300 frames in 4K. Before, I know I had said like 250 to 300 frames in 1440p. I just got cucked there, don't watch that. But yeah, I'm currently getting 300 frames, 240 hertz. This feels super smooth at 4K, which is amazing. Compared to the 2080 where I had to downscale it on this 4K monitor, like this is exactly what I wanted. And then he spawns in and I hit him. The worst part of this is you guys get to see how bad I am at this game, even though I'm addicted to it. Overall, I'm very happy with this upgrade because I feel like I'm actually using this monitor to its full capacity now in the main game I play, which is Valorant. So now I can play it at 4K 240 hertz, and I'm not playing 1440p on a 4K monitor, which kind of was the point, to get a 4K monitor for also video editing and other things as well. So now it just feels good. It feels nice, and it feels like I can actually tell how good this monitor is, which will be a future video. I still want to do a couple more things on it. Everything just feels very clinical and very nice. And so now that I have a graphics card that can actually tap into that, is something that I'm very excited for. Under no load, 45 degrees Celsius, that doesn't really matter, but it's quieter, it's running, and I can now play in 4K on this monitor, and it feels amazing. With all said and done, I think it was a great purchase. I think it was definitely worth it. Do I think this graphics card is for you? Like I had said earlier, I think, you know, if you can get one for MSRP, I think it's a great deal. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.